Okay, can I be heard now? Can you all hear me? Let me know if I got sound. Hopefully, I fixed the sound issue. It does this every single time. I don't know why I always got a problem with the sound. I'll get started as soon as I know whether or not you all can hear me. Let me see. Maybe the sound's still off. I have not gotten any replies. Okay, good. There we go. It's a delay. Dang, I just got glue all over my hand. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a memorial bench. I simply have no design in mind. I think she asked for the simple blue background. I have this picture to work with, as well as she wants 3 pictures. This picture here of these 2 boys, and this picture here of a cousin of mine, Muff. So I'm undecided on whether or not I want to remove the backgrounds or um just fit them inside of like circles or squares or something like that. I do know that the person that she's gifting this memorial bench to, those 2 little children that are on the picture together are hers. So I'm going to put them on one part of the bench, which will be the back part, and then I'll put the other 2 at the bottom, probably on the sides. And this is not the template I'm going to be using. This one here is for the large. I'll be using this one, but I can make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. The blue lines on the screen, if you can see those are my marks to where I know where the holes are in the bench so that no faces are being blocked out by a hole where we have to put the bench together. So that's why I have those 2 marks there, and it won't stay there. It's just there so that I know. And it's simply, we're using Photoshop. So you can do that if you use Photoshop by pulling your rulers out to wherever you want it to go. And that'll simply give you a mark or a template as to where you don't want your design to go outside of or inside of, or however it is, depending on how you're designing. So the small bench can be done in Cricut Design Space. The large bench cannot, because it will not print. This small bench here, you can also, I'm going to X out of it. And I'm going to pull up the one that I actually really want to use. I haven't made registration marks or marks on this one because I don't know yet where the marks are. These templates has been sent out to anybody who purchased the memorial bench. So if you purchase the small one, you're going to get a small. If you purchase the large one, you're going to get the large template. If you purchase both, you're going to get both templates. I did do that after some purchases was made. So those that got the template, those that purchased and didn't get the template, it has been sent to your email. So do check your email. And it is labeled Memorial Bench Template from craftspace@gmail.com. So I'm going to X out of this one. And I'm going to X out of this one too. File. And I'm going to open a new one. This is the Memorial Bench Small. So there we have it. And I don't have my marks on here, so I'm going to create them. I know that it was just about like right here. And cancel. And right here. And I got those marks after I designed that first one that I did. I designed that one, and then I got ready to print. I actually, before I even pressed it, I was just getting ready to, I printed it and I matched it up. It matches perfectly using Photoshop. If you use Cricut, you will have to do some sizing down for the small one. The big one can't be done in Cricut at all. But once I did that, I realized that the faces were being covered or blocked out by the holes in the top part of the bench. So I went back in and created these marks in there. So the first thing, I know she wants the regular clouded background, clouded blue sky background. So first thing I want to do is go ahead and go pull in one of those. Everybody knows where I get my backgrounds and things from. I do purchase some, but for the most part, what I do is Google cloud background, or you can also Google memorial background. That's what I'm going to do. So of course you're going to get these ones that you can purchase. This is the actual Blue Sky Heavens. I thought this was the one that I purchased before. I think it is. It just had a little baby down in the bottom, and I had to cover that up. And I'm just trying to see which one I want to use. A lot of times I don't like these some of these designs, so I have to purchase them. I just want a regular sky with clouds background. Okay, so I'm going to use this one because what I do is I usually add in my own doves and things like that. If it is not, this is free pick. So free pick sometimes give you the option to download. Sometimes you will have to purchase. This one does give you the option to download, and it may say that I need to do the attribution required. So you can still download it for free and copy the link to add the attribution. But I'm actually printing this, so I'm not going to be able to give details on who actually did the background. So we got our background. Here in Photoshop, the way that I place the background inside of the image, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you may already know how. But Photoshop is very, very easy to grasp because a lot of it is repetitive. So you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So that's why it's kind of easy to get how to work Photoshop. I thought it was very intimidating at first, but it's really, really, really easy. So we're going to go to place embedded. We're going to place that clouds background onto our screen. I'm going to open it up a little bit so that it covers the entire thing. you can go here and trying to give you an easier way. Nope. Okay, so what I do is I with the sky highlighted and above the picture on the panel, on the layers panel, you're going to hold down your Alt key and slide your mouse down to that little arrow and square pops up, and then left click on your mouse, and it's going to enter into the the template. So that's how I get the sky in the image inside of my template. I'm going to do that a couple of times with different things. So as far as like adding the pictures in and stuff like that. So I'm going to be repeating that a lot. Like I said, Photoshop is very, very easy to grasp because you are basically repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull in my pictures. So file, place, embedded. All of my pictures are in downloads. I am going to try and match it up with the background. So what I am going to do is remove the backgrounds. So what we're going to have to do is go to removebackground.com or remove.bg. I'm sorry. Remove.bg. You'll upload your photo. Mine are all in downloads. So 2 of them I'm going to go ahead and upload. Open that. We got that downloaded. This one here. Got a little piece here that I don't need. So I am going to edit. And we're going to erase and restore. Got it on erase. We're just going to erase that little piece there and then click download. And then for our last picture, I'm going to have to go in and crop them out. So I'm going to do that here. Save it. Go back to remove.bg and upload that one. And now I have all 3 of my pictures with no background. So we're going to go back to Photoshop and we're going to add those in here. Place embedded. We have this one. I'm just going to rename it over here on the side to boys. Place embedded. This one here. His name is Muff. So we're just going to name that Muff. And file, place, embedded, and get the last one in here. And his name was Fine. So we're going to rename this Fine. I deleted it out. There, made it back. Okay, so like I said, her 2 boys we're going to put up top. I'm going to shrink these down. Holding down the shift key so that it stays in aspect. Like if I'm not changing the width and the length, they'll still be the same aspect. Same thing with this one. Unless I have to, I'm just going to keep it like that. And then for this one, and I'm just shrinking them down so they are out of my way a little bit. Which these 2 here are going to be down here. So there we go. And they're going to be over here. And trying to decide if I want them in the middle. It's going to be really small because this is the tiny one or the smaller one. I think I'm going to put them here in the middle. And I'll put the words above. So I know it's not fully in there, which is fine. I'm going to add a circle around them. or oval. Move it up under the boys. Change the color to white. And just resize it to where I want it. Try and put them in the middle. Now I am also going to add this circle and the boys into this up here. So what I'm going to do was already kind of added in, but I'm going to drop it down into here and then move it up. I dropped the wrong one, but that's fine because they're going to be dropped in as well. But here's the ellipse. So now they're all in that, they're in here with the break in the middle. So now I can go in and do my erase tool. And I am going to erase the bottom portion of this. So everything underneath on this bottom portion so that it's not being seen. And then I'm also going to do that to the boys. Now to make this a little bit stand outish, what I'm going to do on the ellipse or the circle or the oval, whatever it is you want to call it, so I'm going to add a stroke. Maybe change the color of it. And maybe do like a shadow in the inside. And change the color of that as well. Now I have my placement for the top. I'm going to add words to the top, and I probably put the oldest boy, since he's up top, name and dates here, and then the little baby, his name and dates here, and then I don't have that information. I have the names, but I don't have the dates, so that's something I'll still have to get. I guess across the top we're going to do like an in love and memory. So I am going to create some text. Let's shrink that down a little bit so we can see it. I can't see because it's in white. Let's change the color of it so I can see it. Okay. Question is what kind of font we want to use for this. I do know that I want to kind of make it go with this bend. So I want to choose a little bit of a bolder font. And if you don't have certain fonts and you don't know where to get them from, stick with that for now. One thing you can do is go to thefont.com. I think that's the name of it. DA. Gotta type. Yep, thefont.com. And this is where you will find all sorts of fonts. Like I said, I wanted a bolder font. So what I can do is click on basic and do like fixed widths. If you want a script, like something that's cursive, you have your handwritten cursive fonts, your calligraphy fonts, just various. You can click various and it'll pop up all different fonts. And Sonneberger, that looks like a good font for it. It might already be downloaded. Nope. So when you download a font, you just hit download, and you don't have to extract the font. like you would other zip files. What you'll do is just click on the font, double tap it, pull it up, and click install. Once you hit install, it will automatically be installed onto your computer. So that one is called Insani Burger. I guess that's how it is pronounced. So if I go up here and go down to eyes, there it is right there. It's actually called Insani Burger with cheese. It does apply a little bit differently when working in Cricut Design Space. In Cricut Design Space, you will have to reload, save your work, and reload Cricut Design Space, and then it pops in. So we're going to close this down just like that. And I am going to move it up here, widen it out a little bit. And we're going to click back on the text font, bring that back up, and hit our warp tool and change it to arc. And then we're going to want to take that band down a little bit. Just like that. I can move it and center it how I want. Just like that. I am going to change the color of it back to white or blue and add a white stroke. Something like that. So we're going to double tap, color overlay. So now it's blue. And then if I add a stroke, so I can't do it blue or white without having a stroke on it. And we'll change that white. And now you can see it. Gonna bring that back outside. And then make it pop a little bit more. We can add a drop shadow, which puts like a tinted background behind it. And make it more, make it pop a little bit more. I'm kind of not liking the font now though. I didn't want to go with a cursive font simply because we were doing the curve, the warp. And sometimes it moves too far apart when doing that. So I'll come back to that. I'm going to get them situated as far as, I guess we'll do circles around them as well. So I'm just going to do a circle. Move that circle behind him. And you see how this is kind of blocked, squared off. What I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to pull them down a little bit. Make this smaller. So I pulled him down just a tad bit. If I do a white background, it's still going to show in some areas like over here. Let me see if I can move it over or just shrink it in just like that. There we go. So I'm going to take and tap on him, hit the Alt key, press down, and it's going to put him inside of that circle. So if I hold shift, well, not shift, control, and click both of them, now I can move it both around all at once and put it where I want him to go. I can also go in and hit the ellipse tool and change the color of the background to white, or we can do blue. I like white better. And then I am going to actually layer these two together. So I'm going to group it so that it stays together. And I'm going to call that group Muff. Hit our move tool. I can move it around. And now I can, if I want to make it stand out just like this for the muff, I can click this ellipse tool here that we did and take those effects and drag it over and apply it to this, not to him. Let's see if I can get it to apply to the whole thing. Nope, I can do it this way though. There we go. Now it took the effects from there. Okay, so we're going to do copy layer style and paste layer style. Now it's on both. So that's another way you can do it. I want this circle to be the exact same for him because I want it to match or be symmetrical or be even, however it is you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is duplicate that circle. So in muff, I'm going to drop this arrow down, and on the ellipse, I'm going to click it and click duplicate. It did take him out of it. I may have to go back and do all of that. Over. So click this here. We're going to layer, ungroup layers, take the ellipse by itself, duplicate it, and move it over. There we go. Now I can put both of them inside. And I'm going to open him up just a tad bit so that we can get it like we had this, so there's no squared off about them. And then I can move them down. There we go. And again, I am going to highlight this, and I'm going to highlight him, Ron, as well as the ellipse that's behind him. And I'm going to layer and group that. Same thing with this one. We're going to regroup that back together. And we're going to paste the effects here. Let's change this name so that don't just say group 1 and group 2. I like to change the name so that I know what it's called. So this one was fine. This one was muff. So to muff, we're going to paste layer style. And for vine, we're going to paste layer style. Okay, so now we have all of our pictures on our memorial benches. So we have the In Love and Memory. I want to take this off of something's in there that's not supposed to be. The boys. There we go. Okay, so like I said, we're going to add names and dates for the top 2, and we're going to add names and dates for the bottom 2. So I'm going to do name and date for this oldest boy, name and date for the youngest boy. Then for him, I'm going to put him at the top and him at the bottom with name and dates as well. So she only gave me first name, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to hit our text button. And I'm going to use the same font for all of them. Ariane is his real name. For the oldest boy at the bottom, And since the majority of the bottom is white, I'm going to do the fonts in blue. So we're going to change that to this blue color. I'm going to choose a font. Probably can't see it because it's so small, but I'm going to make it just a tad bit bigger, just like that. So that's Ariane. And it is centered. And then what I'm going to do is duplicate layer and drag it down, double tap it, and type the other name. Then on this side, I am going to actually duplicate this once again. Move it over here. Change the name. Shrink it just a little bit because I'm working with a little bit less space over here. And then up here, majority is blue, so I might change these to white. I'm going to do it from the text panel. Yep. And then duplicate one more time. And move it over. And change the name once again. So now I have all the names on here. And I'm going to add strokes to them just to see how it looks. I think I want to group them all together so we can add all at the same time. Let's see if that works. Group layers for this group. Stroke. And that way all of it's not. It will, but I have to do 2 at a time. So I'm going to ungroup these, layer, ungroup, and just choose these bottom 2 first because they're 2 different colors. So that's why I'm doing it separate. Layer, group layers. Gonna name this bottom names. Double click to bring up the blending options. I'm gonna add the stroke and then add a drop shadow. Now that can be seen. And then I'm going to do the same thing up top. I'm going to group these. Double click, add a stroke, except I'm changing that color to the blue. And add a drop shadow. The last thing that I do want to add on there is like sunrise and sunset. Even though I don't know the dates just yet, I'm going to add that in so that all I have to do is add in dates. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pull up File, Open Recent. I'm going to pull up my old one. I like the way that these are on here, the sunrise and the sunset. Pull that out, and I'm going to add that to here. I can exit back out of there. It's going to be really, really small, especially up top. So I don't know. Not too sure if we're going to add that. That's something I'll have to ask the person that's gifting it. Maybe if I change the font, it'll look better. Let me take off these effects for one. We're going to bring that down a whole lot. That's a little better. I'm going to duplicate it, move it over, and change this to sunrise. Make sure that they're even. Okay, so that does look a little better. And I can still put the dates in. So I'm going to group these two layers. I didn't name that, so I'm going to name it. The group that I just made, I'm going to call that dates. And I am going to duplicate that a few times. And move it over. Duplicate it once again for down here. And one more time. I'm going to have to change the name. So now I can put dates on everybody. Let's make sure that's centered. And I'm going to pull. Okay, so that will be my finished memorial bench. Except I'm going to add dates in there as soon as I can get them. I am going to save this file, save as, and I'll save as. First, let me find the right folder. The customer's name. She's ordering two. She's getting one small and one big one. So I'm going to name this for small. And then I'm going to go in and save as one more time to save it as a PNG. And now I can actually send it to her to get her approval, as well as ask for dates to put in here. So that is how I complete my memorial bench in Photoshop. The first one I did in Photoshop, and I moved it over to Design Space. And then I decided that I was going to just print it straight from Photoshop, because Photoshop Once you upload the image into Photoshop, you do not have to resize, not one bit. I upload it to Photoshop. I go in, I click File, Print, change your print settings so that it's mirrored. Be sure to do so. And it fits right over it. You don't have to make any kind of changes, shrink it down, size it bigger, anything like that. If you do use Cricut Design Space for the small bench, you will have to do some resizing. The large bench cannot be done in Design Space at all. The settings, I think the long side is 14 inches long, so you won't be able to use that for in Design Space at all until they decide they want to let us print bigger sizes. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and you all have a good day.